Well, we're in the month of October now, so since we're in the month of October, I think it's appropriate that we make a Halloween video for the month of October. So if you've been on the internet for very long, you can tell that a lot of people will sometimes like creepypastas. A lot of times these can be pretty fun ghost stories, but a lot of times they really like the creepypastas that have to deal with an iconic character like Mario, for example. With the most popular one I could think of at the time was probably Abandoned by Disney, where someone goes to an abandoned Disney area where they meet by a monstrous version of Mickey Mouse. And of course, with creepypastas being very popular, it's no surprise that a lot of people would make fan games out of these, or make their own Nintendo-related horror games. However, even with this, it suffers with a lot of trappings most of the time, where the horror games just feel a bit more samey. Especially those that tries to just copy like Sonic.exe, where it's just like, no gameplay, you just turn right and something spooky happens. Like, stuff like that is just like, meh. Especially with the tacky blood and everything. Which is why we're going to be doing something interesting for this video. Instead of just talking about like Nintendo horror games, I thought why not do anything that's Halloween related and Nintendo related, so ROM hacks, fan games, or anything. It doesn't even need to be a scary game, it just needs to be something Halloween related, and it goes in this video. So why don't we just start off something a bit basic, like Kirby's Halloween Adventure. Now this is a ROM hack that's pretty much a whole reskin of Kirby's Adventure to make things very Halloween-like. And honestly, I really like this. A lot of times when it comes to like Halloween ROM hacks, they mostly just try to make things like very horror-related, but it's honestly really nice to see like a cute little feature that's just like a simple festive Halloween thing you would see in like a Charlie Brown cartoon or something. Funniest thing too is that they actually have a cute little reference to Charlie Brown when Kirby gets no copy ability, where he just gets a rock. Honestly, I highly recommend trying out this ROM hack. It's honestly pretty cute. And it definitely fits Kirby's atmosphere a lot. And as for our next ROM hack, we have Mario Mansion. Now conceptually this sounds like a Luigi's Mansion themed ROM hack, but that's not really the case, although there was a little bit of Luigi's Mansion reference here or there. But for this ROM hack, you're exploring a haunted house where you need to find the 8 red coins. However, you're being chased constantly by the Mad Piano. And all I've got to say is, my god, the Mad Piano is freaking terrifying in this ROM hack. Like, I was never really scared of him in the original game, but for this ROM hack specifically, when he's constantly chasing you, man. What also doesn't help is that the Mad Piano's theme song is the Endless Staircase with its damn Shepherd tone. I mean, I swear to god, thank freaking Christ they only used that tone for the freaking Endless Stairs section. Because if there was a chase section with this song, holy crap. So let's get out of this ROM hack and get into something a bit more calm, like the Backrooms. So if you don't know, the Backrooms was an interesting concept back in 2020, where it basically messes with liminal space in some ways. I don't know too much about the Backrooms, but it does seem interesting, but for this ROM hack, we have Mario 64 in the Backrooms. So in this ROM hack, you're traveling through a maze and this ominous white void and such, trying to find the exit. Eventually, you'll find yourself into deeper areas of the Backrooms. And I'll be completely honest, as much as I was about to laugh and make fun of the tropes that this ROM hack does, it actually did make me scared a bit. The ominous atmosphere of this game really carried it throughout, and every time you actually do see an enemy in this game, it really does feel very terrifying. So yeah, this ROM hack was surprisingly really good. I really like it. Although I'm not going to play it again after seeing this, because holy crap, this actually did scare the hell out of me. So let's go back. So let's wind it back a bit for something that's a bit less scary, a lot more Halloween-y. Like this one I found, which is like Mario 64 / Castlevania ROM hack, where you're traveling to Dracula's castle. I can't say that much about this one, because for some reason every time I get to the first checkpoint, the whole thing crashes on me multiple times. Which is honestly a real shame, because this seemed like a really cool ROM hack to play through, but I don't know, if you were able to get it working, fine by me, but right now I cannot get this working for some reason. So because of that, let's go into the final Mario 64 ROM hack I have for this video, just titled Super Mario 64. So unlike the other ROM hacks I talked about in this video, this one is more of an ARG more than anything. The game starts as the regular Mario 64, as you just go around Peach's castle and such, go inside, but then something is very different in the castle, where it just feels very ominous. There's only one door you can go through, and it's the painting of Bob-omb Battlefield, and once you go in it, it's pretty much the same, except everyone is just missing. There's no enemies, no NPCs, no anything, not even the giant chain chomp, it's just empty. You climb the very iconic mountain area, and you get the star, and then everything just suddenly crashes. You reboot the game, and suddenly outside looks very different as it gets more and more empty throughout. You go into Bob-omb's battlefield, it feels a lot more isolated because a lot of the fences and such are gone now. You get the star, it crashes, rinse and repeat. Eventually, as everything is gone and Peach's castle is in this weird white void, everything is just completely empty, and once you go through this ominously long hallway and jump into Bob-omb's battlefield, everything is just pitch black. And then suddenly, you hear a countdown commence, and once it goes all the way down, this weird demonic looking thing captures Mario, and then it crashes for one final time. And if you try to boot it up again, everything is just completely gone. Mario is gone, you cannot move or anything, and the text screen just says, "Everything is better off without you." Well, fine then, we'll not do any more Mario 64 ROM hacks. Instead, let's go to the Super Nintendo with Super Mario World. So the first one we have here is Super Mario World Halloween Island. So the story of this game is that a mysterious Koopa is turning all the other enemies into zombies. So it's up to Mario to stop the thing and return everyone to normal. So in this game, it's pretty much brand new levels, although they're completely Halloween themed, with a lot of jack-o'-lanterns everywhere, tombstones, and lots of blood. And what also caught me off guard is that the ROM hack itself is honestly really challenging. Like, there's a lot of do-or-die situations where you need to go through areas and such. However, I do have one big issue with this ROM hack, because for some reason, and I do not know why, the controls in this game are a lot more worse than the ones in Super Mario World because everything feels a lot more looser than the original game. Which always makes every time you fall down a cliff a lot more frustrating because I am so used to controls in Mario World, and this just does not feel as fluid as that one. Because I played Mario World and this one back to back on this emulator, and I can definitely tell that there is something different about the controls physics in this game. I think the best way I can describe it is just more slippery. But besides that, this is a really solid ROM hack, and honestly a really good way to check it out. So for the next one, we have another Mario 64 creepypasta ROM hack, and honestly at the start I was kind of worried this was just going to be another one of those EXE type games, but honestly, it turns out to be a bit more unique. So basically you're just walking around in this mysterious forest where something eerie is happening around Mario. Eventually when you get to this section, you'll be chasing by these weird entities, and if you get caught, you'll be stuck in a loop. And in a game where you'd be playing as Peach where she just falls down a cliff or something. Honestly, while this does fall into the same trappings of some of the other horror games I'm going to be talking about in this video, this is honestly a pretty solid one, and honestly, the atmosphere for a Super Nintendo really carries it. I mean, this actually feels like you're playing an actual game, and not just like a game where you're just playing as like a PNG or something. This actually feels kind of natural. So yeah, I kind of recommend this one. However, with our last ROM hack, now this is my favorite one of them all. This is The Quest for the Candies, another Halloween Mario World ROM hack. This is a somewhat spiritual sequel to Halloween Island. However, this one is honestly a lot better in my opinion. For one, the Halloween and autumn atmosphere in this game is honestly very amazing. Like how they do the colors in this game really makes this feel like you're actually going through a spooky area. It's also very challenging too, and unlike Halloween Island, it feels a lot more fairer in this one. And if there's one ROM hack I would recommend out of all the Mario World ones, it would be definitely this one right here. This one is really good. And it's definitely going to be the best game we talk about for this video, because up next we're doing horror game fan games. But before we do so, there's actually one game I want to talk about, and this one is part of my little childhood I had with the internet. This one is Super Mario Flash Halloween Edition. There's really not that much to say, but this was actually one of the first ever fan games I've ever played, and I really want to talk about this in this video. There's really not that much to talk about for this one because it is a very, very simple level pack. I mean, it's literally only 5 minutes long, but I thought it'd just be fun just for nostalgia's sakes. But anyways, the first fan game we have here is Pass.exe. In this game, you wander around the area trying to find what you have to do, then something spooky happens, you wander around a bit more with blood everywhere, and then something even spookier happens. But in this one, you pretty much play as Link in Link to the Past. Nothing much to talk about, but yeah. Let's go on for the next one, which is Dreamland.exe. In this game, you wander around the area trying to find what you have to do, then something spooky happens, you wander around a bit more with blood everywhere, and then something even spookier happens. But in this game, you play as Kirby in Kirby Superstar art style. Nothing much to say here, move on. Last but not least, Metroid.exe. In this game, you wander around the area trying to find... You get the idea. A lot of these EXE kind of games just play the same most of the time, and honestly, it's just very repetitive in the most hilarious way. So how about we wrap things up with at least 2 more fan games I've found that are a bit more unique. The first one we have here is Luigi's Insanity. In this game, you're traveling through a haunted mansion trying to find Egad. But along the way, you'll be haunted by the ghost of Luigi, or some sort of ghost clone of Luigi, I do not know, but yeah, Luigi needs to hide. So throughout the game, you're trying to puzzle through the mansion, trying to find Egad, and honestly, while the puzzles are very simple, this game is definitely really charming. I mean, it's a Luigi's Mansion fan game, for crying out loud. It's going to be very good. I really love the Luigi's Mansion series. However, for the next one, this is actually a game I actually talked about last year during my little marathon of Halloween videos and such. This is Final Fantasy Warriors Deluxe. This is a full-on remake of the original game with new assets and everything. Final Fantasy Warriors was always a game that's very classic to the Final Fantasy Phrase fan game community because it's one of the earliest ones, and seeing this game with better updated images and such is really cool. It's not as impressive as other fan games like with Pop Goes or anything, but for what it is, it's really fun and charming. So yeah, that was pretty much all the Nintendo spooky games I could think of that's worth talking about. A lot of these are pretty dumb, but a lot of them are actually pretty good and very charming that fits the Halloween spirit. And that's not even scratching the surface with other horror fan games like with Pokemon, for example, which has plenty of them about Lavender Town, which is pretty much Tombstone the Town. And of course, there is Earthbound Halloween. This is a very interesting ROM hack that was made by the creators of Undertale, believe it or not. But yeah, that was pretty much all the Halloween fan works I could find this year, and frankly, they're pretty enjoyable for the Halloween spirit. Nothing to play regularly or anything, but for what it is for an October-themed game, they're pretty fun. A bit stupid, but fun. But for the next video, we're going back to the Mushroom Kingdom for Mario's next big outing. So next time we'll be here, we'll be talking about Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Or as Nintendo likes to call it, the Super Mario Bros. Wonder game for Nintendo Switch family of systems. Which is going to be the first ever 2D Mario game since the new Super Mario Bros. U game for the Wii U system. But that'll do it for today, so thank you for watching and I'll see you later. Bye bye!